Good morning, Kevin McCullough. Glad you're with us. Family Net Television, live from Nashville, the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, the site of NRB. Those of you that were with us yesterday, welcome back. I'll be back in the New York studios soon. And then this guy, Stephen Baldwin, and myself will be back Saturday night in our usual spot as well. Stephen stopped by to talk about the story that we are discussing in the NewsHour this morning, the Charlie Sheen kind of press tour that he did yesterday. Ivan found this cut that we used on the Saturday night show, Charlie Sheen's father, Martin Sheen, saying this about his son's condition. Take a listen.
If he had cancer, how would we treat him, you know? The disease of addiction is a form of cancer.
I have a disease? Bullshit. I cured it with my brain, with my
All right,
mind.
so that's enough of that. Martin Sheen, Stephen, because you didn't have the earpiece in,
Sure.
saying if he had cancer, how would we treat him? He has a cancer, the drugs are a cancer, and then Charlie's soundbite right after that saying, I have a disease, that's bullpucky, I cured it, I'm fine. A family's responsibility in this situation, wanting to view him as someone who is sick or someone is addicted, are they the same thing? Should they be seen as something different? What's the best thing that Charlie's father should be saying right now?
Well, I think what Charlie's dad means, Martin Sheen means there to say, he's sick, obviously. I think he's kind of missing the point, really, which is unfortunate. When you have cancer, you know, you have a physical ailment, so to speak, that causes pain or gives you some indication. Alcoholism, within that world, people will say within that understanding of what that problem is. Alcoholism is a disease of your mind. It's a disease of warped perception. It's a disease, which, by the way, very interestingly enough, alcoholism is the only quote-unquote disease that tells you you don't have it. When you have cancer, ow.
Yeah,
when you
you
have
the tumor.
leukemia, ow. You know, when you should be telling yourself, no, I shouldn't have 37 vodkas tonight, your mind tells you it's okay. So it's alcoholism is the disease of warped perception of the mind. Anyway, I think that what Martin Sheen means is he's sick and we should be treating it like it's a cancer. Unfortunately, it's not the same thing. I mean, I hate to say this, but if Charlie had cancer, he may actually like do what he needs to do to get the cure.
He would want treatment.
Right, he would want treatment. So this is just, again, it's just a compilation of years and years of enabling this guy and the money and the power and the wealth and the fame. And what's really sad about what's going on with Charlie right now, if you just hear what he keeps coming back around and saying, I'm right, they're wrong.
I want to ask you about that.
I'm going to win, they're the losers. You know, it's just,
you told me a term
insanity.
last night that I had never heard of called terminal uniqueness. What is that, and how does it apply in this situation?
Well, again, within the disease of alcoholism in the mind, a catchphrase that I heard many years ago. I'm sober 22 years this past January. You know, off of drugs and alcohol, and you know, just really set me free personally. So, and it really was as a result of, for myself, you know, the 12-step program that taught me one day at a time and things like that. So, which then led to my born-again Christianity. So, it's all been very positive.
Right.
But one of the catchphrases within the world of alcoholic understanding is this thing where the individual is suffering from what we like to call terminal uniqueness. It's like, it's that kind of rebel without a cause, kind of nobody understands me, you know, I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing. It's exactly what Charlie's demonstrating right now.
He says in the one soundbite that Ivan's played a couple of times this morning that he has tiger blood in his veins. He has a different heart, a different body. He can take 7 grams of freebase coke because he's,
of course,
powerful.
He's terminally
unique. Yeah, it's
nobody
a good term.
understands. Well, it's just, and it's unfortunately, it's again, it's the disease of the mind known as alcoholism. It's a disease of warped perception, which we're clearly seeing being demonstrated by Charlie right now. I would ask everybody to pray for him. I'm praying for him every day. I just would ask that God would intervene and just give this kid a revelation, break him down, do whatever he has to do, to keep him alive.
Let me switch topics a little bit. There's a rationale as to why some people have stayed in his life and some people haven't over the last 3 or 4 weeks since this all kind of came to the surface. Something to him that's in his inner circle and why a network may do certain things. From where you're sitting and from what you know about the money situation, the studio, even things like his publicist and like syndication and all these other elements, what role does money play in the problems that Charlie has right now and why he's able or not able to get some of the help that he needs?
Well, again, you and I talking one-on-one last night about all the specific details of the situation. I mean, Charlie Sheen is heading into his 9th season of 2.5 Men. So that means that for 7 or 8 years, $1 a year in salary. So 40
That's like
times,
$2 million an episode or something.
well, something like
Yeah.
that. That's kind of rounded off, So in 6 years, 44 million times 6. I can't do that. You can. That's why you're you and I'm me. But
480 plus, yeah.
that's, and again, excuse me, that's just in salary. That's before he goes into the syndication royalties for the rest of his life, which will be hundreds of millions of dollars, yada, 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 yada. So I think it's probably like we're really faced with a situation with a guy like Charlie Sheen right now where I said this to you last night. Who knows how much money in cash he has in his house? He may have millions of dollars in a safe where that cash at hand is allowing him to get his drugs and do his. No one can stop what has been perfectly orchestrated by the kingdom of darkness now, that is, and now we're seeing it on national television. And it just breaks my heart.
Is he getting advice to do this press tour or is that rejecting it? What do you think? Because he's done a lot of media for someone in his situation.
Right. Well, listen, he is unequivocally in the soundbite, flavor of the day, exciting bit of news world that we live in. He's the man. He's the exciting thing happening right now. And to some people, and for me, shame on Piers Morgan. You know what I mean? Shame on CNN.
You and Piers Morgan disagreeing. Imagine that.
No. But here's why. Piers Morgan's the kind of guy that looks at a guy like Charlie Sheen and says, "Wow, no, let's get him on the show. This guy's a fabulous disaster. It'll be great ratings."
Like watching a car go off a cliff and
Right.
the slow fall to the bottom of the canyon.
Everybody's driving by this potential car crash right now, and they're slowing down to look and see what happened and if there's a body laying on the road. And listen, I'm not afraid to say what I just said about Piers Morgan. It's obvious. He did this interview, and Piers is. You saw in the interview, Piers is sitting there, right, Charlie. Oh, good for you, brother. You're a good guy.
Yeah, at the end there was a lot of kissing up to Charlie.
If Charlie ends up dead Monday morning, Piers is just going to go on and go, "Oh, well, nothing you can do. Oh well."
Interesting. Well, Stephen Baldwin, very busy guy here at NRB, and he's got to come and go, and he's got some other things. What are you doing in Nashville besides NRB this week? Tell me a little bit about the Corey Lamb project that you're involved with.
Yeah, well, I directed my first music video a couple months ago. It's getting ready to come out in the next 3 or 4 months. But Corey Lamb is a independent pop artist, rock artist, faith-based guy, real strong Christian. And he's got a song called Break the Cycle. You can go to CoreyLamb.com and you can see that there. And we're kind of touring around doing some marketing and promotion for the video and getting ready for a big tour. He's going out on tour this month, actually, later in March with Super Chick. So they're a kind
opening for the well-known band Super Chick. Hey, Ivan, pull up that video if you're able to off of CoreyLamb.com. Maybe we can go out with it at the end of this segment. Besides that,
it's not on the website.
You said that they could go and watch that.
No, they can hear the song.
Oh, they can hear this. Then we'll just go out with the audio at the end of the segment. Stephen Baldwin, the actor, now director as well. You got some other fun projects that our company's involved in, but
Sure.
At a bigger level, a $25 million budget for a film that's about Sam Jones. Tell us a little about who this guy is and why it's significant and how it's related to Nashville.
Well, coincidentally, it's kind of cool. We're here at the Grand Ole Opry.
With the Thomas Ryman Auditorium right above us.
That's correct. Thomas Ryman was a man in the late 1800s who was kind of like a Donald Trump guy, kind of like a tough guy running
Did he have
around.
better hair?
I'm not sure.
You're such a chicken.
But probably. Sorry, Donald. But the point is, Thomas Ryman was a guy who was owned many, many gambling steamships that went up and down the Mississippi River, and he was involved in the bootlegging business, and he was not a good guy.
Booze, broads, and cards.
Yeah,
he was doing it all wrong.
Yeah, and there was a man who, at the time, from around 1880 to 1910, in that area, was kind of the Billy Graham of the United States of America, and his name was Sam Jones. And Tom Ryman one day, because Sam Jones had been preaching around his area and was hurting his liquor business in the saloons. People were quitting drinking. Saloon owners were shutting down their saloons because they were being converted to faith. And Tom Ryman and his guys showed up one day to teach young Sam Jones a lesson. But Sam Jones went on to fearlessly preach the gospel, and it actually turns out that Tom Ryman became a person of faith, radically converted to faith in Jesus Christ, and went on to convert those steamships that were gambling ships to missions ships that went up and down the Mississippi River, and then started using those ships to help Sam Jones. So obviously it's one of those classic stories.
How's it tied into the most historic landmark in this city?
Well, yeah, thank you. Tom Ryman, as a tribute to Sam Jones, went on to build the first church for Sam Jones to have as a permanent home base in Nashville, Tennessee, and that church went on to become the legendary Grand Ole Opry, which every year you see the Country Music Awards. If you're sitting on the first floor of the Grand Ole Opry during the Country Music Awards, you're actually sitting in a church pew. So a lot of people kind of know that the Grand Ole Opry was built as a church and know it was built by Thomas Ryman, but they don't know about Sam Jones, but they're gonna.
They're gonna. All right. And that film's in production later this year.
Yes, sir.
Stephen Baldwin's directorial major motion picture debut. It's Kevin McCullough coming right back. Don't